Hello everyone and welcome back to day 10 on this job site. Today's video is pretty much the same as last week's. We get all the same stuff done, but we also install the dormer trusses for the first house. So if you already have seen last week's video, there's nothing new except for the last 5 minutes, so you could go ahead and skip to that if you want to see me install the dormer. For anyone new here, this is us at about a week and a half on this job. We got 2 houses fully built up to the roof. We're going to get the back of this one sheeted and install all the main cap set trusses for this side. For next week's video, we will be tackling the front of the house, including the double gable trusses. So if you've already seen this video, make sure you stop by next week to see the continuation of the progress. So with that, I will explain everything I do as I go along. So let's get this sheeted. So since we got the last house sheeted, we already started on this house at the end of the other day. So that's why we already have 2 rows started, along with our plywood ramp going already. This time we also got roof cleats, so then it's a little bit safer to walk, because the boss was kind of pestering us about it, but it's always safer to have these on anyways. I do pretty much all of the nailing on this roof as well. Just like the last house, we're nailing these trusses 2 foot on center, just to make sure everything is standing up straight. The compressor wasn't keeping up and driving the nails fully, so I do have to pull out my hammer quite a bit on this side. Those blocks we put in temporarily on the day that we installed the main trusses, and we do have to knock them out so then we could get them on the correct layout sometimes.
No.
Yeah, his fish just kept dying and dying and dying. And mine were always good. Then I switched to motorcycles, dude. He goes out and buys a fucking $7,000 bike after I go and buy a $2,000.
Well, if you can either one, he's trying to keep doing that. Or two, you want to find your line, I get a few more days, I can shit. Like, I don't want to get better. This plywood is overhanging the gable truss by about 8 to 12 inches or so, something like that. And then after that, we're going to install the fly rafter, which will make the plywood come out flush or even. And my hose kept getting caught under this truss. Two nails per rafter with these 8-penny nails is enough to hold these roof cleats. These plywood clips and these 2-foot spans are the main reason I don't like installing trusses in the first place. I lean forward on the sheet here when I slide it in, so it helps it get into the clips a little bit better. We also do end up getting this side done faster than the other side since we are already in the groove from doing it once before. This is at about 8 or 9 a.m. as you can see by the sun. We got a guy using the lift to plywood and sheet that gable right there, which is the main reason why we have the plywood ramp in the first place. I'm going to cut myself a 6-foot piece here. This is just a 7-pitch roof, so it's not that steep. Once you get to about 12, that's when it starts to get harder to walk on freely. These plywood clips are kind of tight, so they don't just slide on by themselves. That's why I have my hammer on to give it a little extra push. Well. At this point, we sheeted up to where we have to stop, so now it's time to install the truss stringers. These stringers would just be a 2x4 lineal laid out across the top of these flat part of the trusses. We're going to have about 6 or 7 laid out across this span, and we're going to have them all nailed at 2 foot on layout so then everything stays sturdy. This gives a flat surface so we can install our cap set trusses on top of it, as well as something to nail them all to and connect it all together. This is the sketchiest part of these houses since these trusses are really wobbly up at this point, but once you get about 3 of these stringers on, it gets pretty sturdy. Since I got the truss nailed to my left, I spread my leg far to the right and push it so I could get it on layout so I got more leverage.
Living as a young motherfucker.
We measured the flat part of the span before we started setting these stringers out so then we could have each stringer evenly spaced out between them. If you connect one end first and then go to the other end and nail that side, you don't have to worry about keeping it evenly spaced throughout the whole middle. You definitely won't be able to do this job if you are afraid of heights. They won't let you stay on the ground forever. You do have to get up there at some point, so. And here's me popping one of our stringer lines just to make sure it's the right spacing. We should have cut these 2x4s with the saw while we had the chance, but you'll see us sawzall these little nubbins off later, unfortunately. See, at this point I could walk across the span without much wobble since we have those stringers on, so I go to the other end. Those long spear-like trusses sticking out is what indicates where the dormer is going to be, and you'll see us mess with that near the end of the video. And a dormer is just a small structure sticking out of the roof with a small window in it usually, which helps get some light inside of that part of the house. And it's not usual for us to build two of the exact same houses on a job site, so doing all this twice is kind of tedious. I keep smacking my chalk box so then the chalk on the inside will keep rolling around on the string as I pull it across the span. My go-to is usually the cheap $8 Irwin chalk boxes. Drop a comment and let me know what kind of chalk box you use. And this will be our last main stringer. We mark where the small dormer stringer goes as well. And with that, we move on to installing the cap set trusses. These are going to be the main peak or the point of the main roof structure. We want to make sure these ends plane good with the trusses below, and we want to make sure all these peaks line up, so you want to have them in the semi-same position as well.
Yeah.
And then get them nailed good into the stringers following the trusses below.
Can you turn this up? Are you able to turn this up? Yeah. I want to hear this song.
It's the end.
Aw.
This time we just kind of started in the middle and then worked our way to each side to each gable. This gable truss has more upright chords than the other trusses since it will be plywooded on the outside. We're going to get a small brace and then plumb this gable truss for future use. Then Mr. Butterfingers drops my lighter. We don't put any temporary blocks in between these trusses since as soon as we're done installing them, we do sheet right up to it, which keeps them stable. This truss must have been bowed or something because it was kind of bouncing up and down. We skip a couple because the trusses going over the dormers are a little bit different than the other ones. These dormer trusses taper out at the end to accommodate for like a 3-pitch shed roof above the dormer. So now we're going to get this sheeted up for about 2.5 rows and then move on to the dormer. We made sure that this plywood would be 2 foot on the below truss and then 2 foot on the piggyback truss, so then it'll tie it in better, since a normal plywood sheet is 4 foot wide and 8 foot long. Is there any mud vein enjoyers?
Shit. Shit. We gotta cut this one back.
One of these dormer trusses was held off layout to accommodate for something else on the inside of the house, so it makes for weird breaks at this area. And we're finishing off this back roof with a 2-foot rip. And of course we hold it about 1.5 inches down from the peak to accommodate for a ridge vent. These green lines are made by the manufacturer, so this middle line should be a perfect 2-foot rip. And the saw battery was dying, but I was trying to get it anyways. I had some Jolly Ranchers for this day. Give me a comment and let me know what the best work time snack is.
The job is under the bed.
This clip was giving us some trouble, so I try to bend it open and widen it a little bit. I don't have the footage for the last couple rips, but we get that finished and then we move on to the dormer trusses. To start this dormer off, we got 2 trusses nailed together, which is usually called a girder truss, and this will indicate the left side of the dormer. There's a little talking here just to make sure that we're getting it into the correct spot. It turns out I gotta unnail this truss and move it 1.5 inches so then we can make room for the dormer truss.
Inch and a half this way.
Yep, just like that.
Then I pull them together so he can nail it good and tight.
In 5/8 on this plate? Yeah. Okay, no, I'm not. That's what we're doing the whole way down?
On the right side of the dormer, this brace was in the way, so I just sawzall it off. And this will be the second girder, or double truss.
Oh, it's not? It's on that double mark? Yeah. Start coming down. Suck in. In. Okay. Is it 5/8 in again?
So that's it in terms of trusses for the dormer. Now we gotta frame the window in manually. I start with a 2x4 top plate and we nail under into the trusses on layout. This is a piece of 2x6 fascia which will end the roof line, and it's what you would attach your gutter to.
I don't see a line. Oh no. Right there is my line. Yeah.
The line doesn't match up. I got pushed out like 2 inches.
Just playing down with your speed square to the corner of the board.
Whoa. Was I just going tight?
No, king stud.
The king stud is what you would attach your window header to, and that would indicate the outside of the window. The board was laid out for the window before we set it up. And these are the cripple studs under the window, which will indicate the bottom of the window.
I'm on my line.
And it was near the end of the day, which is the reason why we're all clustered up in this one little area.
Oh, that was to the truss. That was a truss mark. Yeah.
And this is what we call the sill plate, which is what the window will sit on afterwards. We usually double them up to give them more sturdiness. So to finish this video up, we're going to just get some plywood sheets on the side of this window and call it a day. I'm sorry for some of the content kind of being repeated, but that's just kind of the nature of building two of the exact same houses. I did mention in my previous videos this is not something that we do often, so in my next few building series, it will be unique houses one at a time. But for my next video, we will be roofing the front side as well as installing all the gable trusses on top of the garage, so make sure you tune in next week to see that. And as always, if you have any tips, criticisms, or feedback regarding my work or my video, make sure you let me know. And if you like what you saw, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to watch us frame this to the end. This has been Old Dirty Carpenter, and I'll catch you on the job site next week. Thank you.
Yeah, science, bitch.